From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
Welcome everybody to Soul Purpose Healing. I'm Viata, your host. And buenas noches. I realize that people are waking up this morning. Buenos dias. There are all kinds of timelines that we're on. My grandson reminds me all the time that he's not always on the present timeline. So I'm adjusting my thinking a lot about what timeline are you on? And can we still come together and communicate and be in harmony? Well, that's our goal tonight, especially to be in harmony about what's going on in the news around us and the energy. There's so many high emotions about Karmelo Anthony that I wanted to just share my thoughts on that. This is not going to be a long show tonight because I had such a busy day. Today was my granddaughter's birthday, and we spent time with her today. So welcome to the village. We are still in Tiny House Village Mind mode. So welcome and thanks for being here.
Kabos enlis ora corona cokrokos kodo enha na kukabora enha na kukabuch enha anuki madres with mad pushalao on the bad book bad to cool type of gal the cooks a hapa a kan papa r benenza put the cookana sa r.
So I give thanks for Emok, who is the creator of that beautiful music, and he's on Facebook, or he's on YouTube too as well. Na Kuk Kabura Ana is the name of that song. Thank you, Emok, for letting us borrow that song. And tonight we just want to give you a catch up for Karmelo Anthony. If you were joined me on my show on Friday, I introduced a 20-year practicing attorney to help us understand the law, especially man's law. And we also talked about karma, because this whole drama with a young man, 17-year-old, who put a knife in the chest of another 17-year-old is creating a lot of wisdom and information for us to grow on. That's my big thing, is what are the lessons in this? How can we prevent this type of drama and move ahead with all the other things we need to do? So, and I've been watching this. Oh, I didn't realize they were going to trial this month until a couple of weeks ago. I started watching this last year when it happened. It happened in April of 2025. Okay. And I watched it religiously on YouTube because it was just so interesting how two teenagers could get into a serious brawl like that. So now at the almost a year later, I saw an interview of the judge in this case, who said he's been working on this case for 8 months. 8 months. And when you think about the corruption in our government and our court system and all that, they had 8 months to really plan how to bring another young man to prison, if you want, or to bring justice, however you want to look at it. So many people don't believe that justice was performed. Of course not. Not in man's system. Justice is hardly ever performed. But as we talked about on Friday, there's a karmic order to this. And it brought me to a tarot card reading. I don't know how many of you have actually listened to tarot card readings. I know that's kind of new age stuff for Christians and many people, but I find them very fascinating to listen to, because many people who do these tarot readings they're not witches and they're not evil, but they practice a special intuitive, mental, spiritual energy reading in these cards that give you insight to what's going on a higher level. So I watched 2 tarot card readings on Karmelo Anthony and the young man who was stabbed. And it was just so fascinating to see the karmic connection that these 2 young men have from a past life. These 2 young men came together in this life because of the interchange energy dynamics of karma, or reaping and sowing over past lives, present lives, and all that. So even if you don't watch tarot readings, there's some truth to the idea that energy is always interchanging in different lives, no matter the color, and past lives especially, that bring people back together to resolve conflicts, especially. So this is kind of the summary. If you really, I'm not going to play any tarot readings tonight because there are just too many people who don't even do readings, aren't interested. But the summary of these readings was that both of these separate tarot readings were that these 2 people, Karmelo Anthony and the Metcalf, had inner workings, energy, karmic energies that had to come together to have this connection and this drama unfold the way it's unfolding. So I just want all of us to be aware that this is deeper than we're seeing on YouTube and the internet and the news. It really is a lot deeper why these things had to happen. Now, the other part of the news that I got over the weekend was railroading. If you Google railroading or search for railroading on YouTube, they don't have a clue about the railroading that happens when a Black man is sent to another county, let's say, And the drama plays out because the system works it out in a different county because they want, let's say, an all-white jury, and they want things to play out in a certain way. So they railroad someone. They send the criminal or the victim to another location to work it out in their favor, basically. But you can't find anything on the internet about railroading in that sense of the word, criminal activity of moving criminals around to get an outcome that's favorable. Nothing. I couldn't find anything. All it talks about is stock trading, railroading, and modern day railroads. And that's it. That's all you're getting. So the reason that's coming up is because many people believe that Karmelo Anthony was railroaded. Now, I couldn't really see the justification in that thought because the case was tried in Collin County, and someone tried to say, well, he wasn't really from Collin County. He was from another county. That's not true. He was in Frisco. He lives in Frisco. The drama played out in Frisco, and all of that is in Collin County. So people are throwing everything into this situation to justify their own beliefs, which we have to take with a grain of salt. Okay? So the railroading, the tarot card readings, and then the fact that the video, allegedly there's a video that shows that Karmelo had 4 guys attack him, and he had bruises and marks on his face, and they've hidden all that. It appears that wasn't shown in the courtroom, but the defense attorney that they hired was just worthless. He didn't do his job at all. Everyone concludes that. So the story just keeps twisting and turning, and I call it a firestorm because emotions are inflamed right now over this whole drama scene because one teenager killed another teenager, and it could have been avoided. And that's what I want to just say tonight. How do we avoid this type of drama in the future? And I am speaking to parents of all ages. We need to teach our children conflict resolution. Let us go forward, whether all this drama plays out, and evidently he's going to appeal and he's looking for a new trial for all the reasons I just stated, because there's a video that they didn't play, evidently, that shows that there were 4 people involved. And what the family and the friends of the Karmelo Anthony are trying to prove that he, in fact, did this out of self-defense. The fact remains, though, that you cannot have a greater force to defend yourself than one that was originally perpetrated on you, like a smack or a hit or a push. But most people are trying to say, well, if 4 people attacked him and he was running for his life and he stabbed someone, that was all in self-defense. So we can look at this whole situation in one way and say, well, it's justified that he get a new trial. I think that would be fair. And then maybe he, instead of 35 years, he could get 15 years, which means he would be eligible for parole in 7 years. Now, this is what the tarot card readers suggested is going to happen, that this young man is going to get a new trial and that he will be able to restructure his life because he'll have a shorter sentence. And I think I would like to see that happen because he's only 17. How many of you would like to see a 17-year-old get a break? Not the victim's family and friends, of course not. There's so much hatred going on, hatred energy flying both ways. And people are saying, well, it's all because of racism. No, it's all because of ignorance. When you look at the mind of people who want to hate on somebody they don't even know because of their color of their skin, that's ignorance. So we want to overcome ignorance as we go forward and stop the hatred because it's totally unnecessary in 2026. My grandchildren are mixed race. Their mom's Colombian, their dad's my son, of course. And today, at her birthday party, she was at a craft shop with, let's see, one, two, four of her friends, and they were creating these craft wall unit wooden. They were creating these wooden crafts to with paint and stencils, and to put on their the boards, the wall, and flowers and all. I might have a picture of it actually, but every one of her friends was a different race. She had a black friend there. She had what I think was a Hispanic friend there. She had a Caucasian friend there, and she had a Oriental friend there. This generation is not racist. They're getting it from their parents. If they are that way, if they're judging people by the color of their skin, it's coming from the elder adults. And so we need to stop that. We just need to stop. We're done with that. And this case is really almost like a psyop, okay? Psychological operation to stir up the masses, to hate each other, and to think one party is better than the other. And we've seen this played out before. It seems like every election season, we get some dramatic event, psyop event, really, where they control the outcome, or they're controlling the emotions of people. A psyop is something where they're playing with your mind. And this trial is, and this drama and this event is certainly playing with people's minds to think that that color man is worse than this color man, and we need to hate these people and hate those people. And this is kind of ridiculous at this point. It's ridiculous. Let's stop it. And so I'm going to play some music to help us meditate on inner peace, because I think people who are stirring up the pot in this and creating this firestorm around these teenagers, they're teenagers, for goodness sake, they're teenagers. And adults are being stirred up into hatred and prejudice and ignorance like always when something like this happens and there's two different cultures involved. And these are different cultures involved. And yet they all lived in Frisco, in Collin County, and now almost over a year later, this trial finally came to an end. And now we're going to have to appeal it because there's some definite hints of corruption going on here. Yeah, definitely. But that's why we want to prevent this ever happening again, because you are not going to have a smooth ride in the United States justice system. It's not going to happen. So I want to just remind my audience and anyone who listens to this later that this Karmelo Anthony and the Metcalf trial conflict is a huge, huge lesson, a wake-up call for us. That's what it's really meant to do from the scope of soul purpose healing. Why are we here? What are we here to do? We're here to resolve conflicts and stop having a ring in our nose to be led into hatred and conflict, more conflict, and ignorance. This is a display of ignorance, that people are hating each other, hating strangers because they have the same color skin as the victim, or vice versa. This is ignorance at its highest right now. And that's why I'm doing this show, is to bring some wisdom to this, some peace and some calm maybe to the energy that keeps showing up around this case. It's time for us to just learn the lesson and practice it. So I want to encourage, number one, parents. We have got to start teaching conflict resolution in the home first. No, it's summer school right now. Let's have a summer program all summer on conflict resolution. I do not have a program set up yet. I might have to do that, but I will be dealing with this subject every show that I do, conflict resolution. Let's get starting at even 7, 8 years old, whatever age your child is ready. There are some children who might be 3 years old and they might be ready for this teaching. I read a book by my guest Christy Price Priester. She's going to be my guest on Wednesday. She was my guest few weeks ago. She's in a wheelchair. She was hit by a car, and she is paralyzed from the neck down. And so she'll be back to talk about her book that I'm reading. I'm almost done. And in this book, she has some most interesting circumstances and events that happen. And one of them was with a 3-year-old child that she met. And she talks about the wisdom of this child was so amazing that she got her attention. They had this relationship. And then, unfortunately, the child was in an accident and died. And so that quickly, she learned that even 3-year-olds have the mind to absorb content, wisdom, and have understanding that can change their families and the world. So I want everyone to be thinking about Pure Inspiration. That's the name of her book. She'll be here Wednesday night on my vegetable soup edition, Wednesday night at 7, to talk about this book. Has some really amazing stories that she went through. And now she is a strong, strong advocate for helmet riding on bikes, because that's what ruined her or changed her life. But I'm saying even 3-year-olds might be ready to start learning about conflict resolution. I talked to my grandchildren about Karmelo Anthony's story, and right away, my 9-year-old grandson said, well, he must have intended, and I didn't even talk about color, what race they were or anything. And my grandson said, well, he must have intended to hurt him. Why would he put a knife in his backpack? So that's a 9-year-old perspective. 3-year-old might have the same perspective, depending on who you're talking to. So we can develop curriculums for elementary school students, children, on conflict resolution. Tell them the story of Karmelo Anthony, how he went into a tent of a track team, a scuttle developed, that people got angry, people were fighting, whatever, just make up stuff. And tell the story to your children in your life, that two people got very angry, and whatever the root cause of it, someone pulled out a knife, stabbed it. I mean, he stabbed this guy so deeply, and he admitted it right after the police encountered him. He admitted, he said it wasn't alleged, I did it. That was a big mistake, probably. But when you admit that you stabbed someone so deeply that he hit the bone, not only did he hit his heart, but there were bone fragments on the knife that hit the back of behind his heart, I think the spine or something. Take a deep breath. That's such extreme anger, strong anger, that we have to develop a program now to teach children. And Karmelo is a good example now. We can use him as part of our curriculum. That type of anger could get you 35 years in prison. And he's in trouble now, because the environment of a prison he's now, I think, 18 or 19, is rough, and that could kill him. So even though he took someone's life, being in a prison at that age, he might not survive. So let us use this story to teach our younger children how to prevent this type of drama and consequences and behavior. Parents, first of all. And then second, I would strongly advise you start a law lesson. Study the law in your neighborhood, in your city. Let's develop some law schools, curriculums, because part of the reason that this drama is showing up in our society about this case is that people don't really know the law, and they didn't know the law, and they don't understand why the jury even sentenced this young man to 35 years in prison, because they don't know the law in that area. So 1, curriculum for conflict resolution. 2, law school for young people. Let's learn the critical laws in our state, our city. What happens if you do this crime? What happens if you do that crime? It's time to really teach our kids. Summer school here. In fact, I may have to just conduct a summer school program on my shows this summer about these things. And then third, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, in my opinion, is what prevents all diseases. When you are knowing how to respond versus react to any situation, your health will be improved because you're not going to be producing hormones from your adrenal glands that are stress related. Because the longer you have stress hormones like cortisol and other stress hormones in your body, the more disease, tumors, cancer will show up, arthritis, all those things show up because our body becomes so acid from emotions. I have had debates on Facebook about German New Medicine, especially how what happens when you have a child die suddenly and you get really in the deep grief. And they were saying, well, emotions didn't really have anything to do with that. I've studied too long to know they have everything to do with it because we're all energy. And the energy of grief, unforgiveness, shame, sadness, unforgiveness is very acidic. That energy in conducting in your body, rolling around in your body, it's very acidic. And so on a pH scale of acid and alkaline, if the acid is in the yellow zone very long, that's why you have inflammation show up, because it's anti homeostasis, it's anti harmony, it's anti love, it's antibiotic. Like it's a natural antibiotic that floats around in your body, creating disease. So if we can teach our young people and even adults about staying in the alkaline zone where disease cannot live. A guy by the name of Otto Warburg got a Pulitzer Prize that from his research that showed cancer cannot grow in an alkaline environment. So staying in an alkaline environment means love, forgiveness, peace, joy, laughter. All those things create happy genes, they call them. And so we want to start teaching that lesson if we're going to prevent this case. And so by all means, let's use this case to demonstrate to our children, our loved ones, what can happen if you behave this way. So it's a matter of choice, 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 choice. Choose to be in peace at all times and respond with what? Peace, forgiveness, loving kindness, just as the monks taught us for how many days? 112 days marching for peace and through on the east coast of the United States. It was all about mindfulness. Let us begin to teach mindfulness to our children as the monks came to do, so that we can prevent this trauma that's playing out. This is a great soap opera in many ways. So it's like, don't get caught up in this so much, because everybody's throwing out what they think they know about the Karmelo case. And then it turns out to be wrong because we don't really have all the pieces. It's like the puzzles I've been doing. I haven't done puzzles on, but it's like the fragmented puzzle pieces out there. And then we got this Karmelo resolution picture, and everybody's throwing in their own pieces that aren't fitting in this puzzle. So let us just chill and let the puzzle come together on its own. And while in the meantime, let's create our own peace puzzles with conflict resolution classes, emotional intelligence classes, and legal matters classes. Those are the three, I think, most important lessons out of this case right now. And we can do it this summer. While if your kids are out of school, let's just sit them down and tell them about Karmelo, and then line up ways that they can respond differently instead of reacting to bullies. It's been talked about how these two Metcalf boys were bullying Karmelo. And it was a long history of these kids bullying, not just him, but other kids. And there's all kind of stories coming out about how these guys were just a couple of bullies. Let's teach our kids how to handle these bullies. They're not going away. You know why they're not going away? Because their home life is dysfunctional. You're going to have bullies in your life because their parents have not shown love in the household. That's usually where bullies come from. No love in home. In fact, there might be abuses of all kinds, beatings, who knows. And then they go out and they want to bully somebody else because they're being bullied at home. So let's teach our children this summer how to handle bullies. And you don't pull a knife out and you don't bring knives to school because that you could end up in prison. So great lessons in this case. Instead of watching or getting emotional about all that's going on around it, just let it play out, because we really can't do a whole lot unless you're going to be the defense attorney in the appeal case. You can't really do a lot. So let's just chill and go within. So I'm going to play this beautiful sound of inner peace for us to end this show tonight, that it might remind you to go forward and teach this to our children. Right now, this is all about teaching a young generation how to prevent this. No matter what comes out in the news, the firestorm, just put the fire out in your mind and your emotions. Let's not get upset about it. Let's not hate on other people because they're a certain color. Let's just find the peace within and start teaching this younger generation how to resolve these conflicts. So get in a comfortable position, if you will, with me. We're going to just do some breath work and some meditation, meaning closing your eyes and just bringing in the inner peace that is so needed right now for this country, that because we're going through this crazy trial. Deep breath in, close your eyes. Get it out. Let go of any frustration, any sadness, because the reality is that Metcalf is in a place of through this. Let go of sadness. Try and this moment breathe in peace, and let go. And remember where peace is. Give me peace about the things that cannot change. Radical serenity. To accept that serenity. And every day, grant me the serenity to accept things that cannot. And the wisdom to know the difference. Courage to change what I can. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in joy. Let it reach all the way to all the way to let go. Anger. No one. Breathe in. Surrender. What you cannot change. Surrender what you cannot change. Courage to change what you can. Breathe in wisdom. worries, frustrations, fusion, all those feelings. Clarity, peace, enjoy. You are enough. You are more than peace into the world. More love, more love. Let go. Any doubt. Empowered. Breathe in, breathe in. You can find this music called The Sound of Inner Peace 21, relaxing music for meditation, yoga, and stress. You can find that on YouTube or look for any quiet, soothing music when you find yourself rattled and stressed and in confusion and pain even. If you take some time to listen to soft music like this when you're in pain, you will reduce the inflammation and the pain. But it's a choice. It's a choice to stay in that mind of looking for peaceful situations, looking for peaceful music. And especially right now, Michael Jackson, oh boy, he's at the top right now, almost at 1 billion. He has surpassed the biopic of the record. He is now the #1 biopic movie ever produced, and he's headed for $1 billion. The movie finally broke out in Japan, or when it came out in Japan, they're going to take it to $1 billion, I'm sure. That's where his biggest fans are, I'm sure. So let's celebrate Michael Jackson. Enjoy the rhythm of Michael Jackson. Every time I play Michael Jackson lately, I get goosebumps. It's weird, but that's how powerful this movement is. I think it's because so many people now are tuned in to his rhythm, his music, his life, that we have a very powerful vibration of his music all over the world now. $1 billion. And so when you play his music, you're going to feel it. If you love music, you're going to feel that vibration of Michael Jackson. So enjoy Michael Jackson. Let me see if there's any. Michael Jacksons we can enjoy just to. Let's see. I was out today at the grocery store, and Billie Jean came on. So let's just. I want to introduce you to, if I can, Michael. There are lots of musicians have created Michael Jackson jazz and reggae. So this is a jazz. Find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. So that's just a sample of the type of music that can get us out of this worry, funk that people are in, and stress mode that people are in. Find your music that can raise your vibration. It's so important right now. We raise the vibration in our city, in our neighborhood, because all over the world now, Michael Jackson is really influencing the younger generation. And if we join in that enjoyment, that music, we can change this frustration and hatred that's going on around Carmelo. And in the meantime, just teach your children, your younger generation, what's going on with Carmelo, and help learn the lessons of emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Maybe that's another one. There's so many lessons in this. Just practice with your children, with your youth, and we can prevent this drama from happening again. In the meantime, enjoy the soap opera, but just don't get caught up in it. Just keep learning the lessons, because there's going to be more coming, I'm sure, as this young man learns about prison life right now. So we don't want that to happen to any of our youth if possible, but consequences are everywhere. So this is it for tonight. I just wanted to really speak what was on my heart about all this, and how we need to get busy with summer school, conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, all that good stuff. Okay. Mwah. I love you all. Shalom. Namaste. Namaste. I don't see any comments. So if you're watching this later on, please share with others. And of course, if this has been helpful for you, please like and subscribe so we can get our numbers up, and more people can come for the truth that I bring and the experience that I'm bringing to all of you to walk in wisdom. And if this has been helpful for you, if you've gotten something out of it, my Cash App is $Vieta Robinson. I appreciate any donations that you send me. And of course, my book, From Fear to Faith and the Master Design, is available when you send $8 to Cash App. And if you send me a Cash App donation of any amount, I'll send you the vegetable soup book. You'll get that in a PDF right away. So send me your email with your donation, and you'll get the vegetable soup book. And go to my website, yourholisticlifecoach.com. If you're having trouble navigating this amazing earth journey, I have a 6-week program for only $700 that will partner with me and you to do tapping and to resolve the conflicts in your life easily. I'm a master at resolving conflicts, and a master at emotional intelligence and preventing disease, which is my signature on TikTok. Disease Prevention Coach is my name on TikTok. So join me there. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's create a more peaceful environment. And we've got, let's see, comment here from Higher Learning. The type of music we listen to has much to do with the choices we make in life. Amen, sister. So don't forget to join. That's my sister from another mother, Zelda, at Higher Learning TV show. She'll be on YouTube tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central and 8 a.m. Eastern. So join her there so you can get some high vibration meditation first thing in the morning. That's what she's really good at. And she's always bringing in some fabulous guests. Thank you, Zelda, for that comment. The type of music we listen to. So make it high vibration music, whatever it is. Just make sure your music isn't spitting out a lot of curse words and negative energy, because we just don't need that right now. Okay, everybody have a good evening. I love you. And namaste, sat nam, and shalom. See you on Wednesday. Don't forget Wednesday. My guest will be back, Christy Priester, to share her book and her knowledge about her life as a wheelchair disabled person. But she is a fabulous woman. All right. Shalom. See you later.
Tashiya mushi wa pasal kawun the fear mu the kabili a kalat nun I kick the kabun to a part to sad I do get a horse we can pop my garage I knew I would for pop a lag and knew I got but you I could get that I knew could do the culture destination yet I knew could do la mother was part of that I do free papa that the gahamos and knew but nas that super do I got the horse the cook could put it in hot yeah